Well, you have heard, I mean, we have also heard I think, let me take it like this. Where precisely do you stand? Whose responsibility do you believe it is to set up the ranches?
I was very clear in the answer which I gave you. I said the states that are interested in cattle ranches and have seen the importance of it should set it up, and the federal government, if there is the need to support them, they should support them to do that. After all, they have Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, so what are they doing? And they also have lands. If Sokoto State or Katsina State or Kaduna State felt that they should set up cattle ranches, what stops them from doing that? So I believe the states that want to set up cattle ranches should be able to do it. But I think the whole issue goes beyond that because this problem of herdsmen getting into lands and unleashing violence against other persons could be analyzed and appraised from a different dimension. First of all, it is an environmental problem. The reality of climate change that you have such herdsmen moving from far north down to the south where they can pasture. And secondly, it's a security problem in the sense that people now are more conscious of their lands and are very much determined to protect it. And then you have this kind of problem. And then you also have the political dimension to it, or in the very sense that people are using ethnic, religious, or sectional lenses to view the problem. And then the image will now be in religious, sectional, or ethnic color. So the federal government need to do the first and first, and that is to secure communities that are victims of this violence. And it is not just the states in the middle belt that have suffered from this violence. In Kaduna State, in an area called, in a local government called Bindingwari, the same thing in Zamfara State. There is a very large swath of land that starts from Zamfara, Kaduna, and Niger State. It's a game reserve, and that place is almost an equivalent of the southwestern version, northwestern version of Sambisa. You will see herdsmen, well armed, acting above the law and killing people. Just a few days ago, they raided a community in Bindingwari and killed over 10 people. So we must understand that these herdsmen are a problem. But the solution to it also is not about establishing ranches. There are measures that need to be taken. One is that we must accept that this violence is criminality, and those who are involved in it should be dealt with squarely without putting any ethnic, sectional, or religious color to it. And secondly, we must, in every possible way, be very clear and unambiguous in our position on this issue. There are insinuations that the herdsmen are protected, they are paid, they are pampered. These are not very far from the truth, because if the way we will deal with insurgents group like the Boko Haram and the way we are very fierce on other ethnic militia, we will also stand up to these herdsmen, and that should be very clear. But also there's also the need to have a clear demarcation between peaceful cattle rearers, Fulani cattle rearers, and armed herdsmen. If you rear cattle, you are a cattle rearer. If you pick up arms, you are an armed herdsman. And if you kill, you are a killer, and that is a fact. So we must be very frontal in this, and the president has to know it very well, that his integrity and the credibility of his government is at stake. People are being killed and blood is flowing everywhere, and we can't continue to politic over this issue.
My colleague Chimberling has a question for you from Lagos.
Well, Senator, listening to you, I mean, many will say, well, that sounds completely different from the average politician who belongs to a political party that they know. But does this then mean that you think that there isn't a sincere attempt by the federal government to take this problem headlong, or is it just overwhelming? Well,
I think I come from a part of the country that also suffers from violence, and which is in Kaduna State. And I believe that the part of my constituency also is in this category of victims of herdsmen. But we live in a country that operates a reward system for violence and is complicit in it. And you see villains are being paid and then victims are being blamed. For me, the very fact that this issue has been raised to the highest level of government and no attention was, nothing serious was done, as was being reported by the governor of Benue State, I believe it's something that could be said is the failure of government to act. And in my own part of the state, particularly in the Birningwari area of mine and also in southern Kaduna, this problem has been lingering, and nothing significant is done to end it. Most times you see suspects being paraded and then you don't hear anything about it, and then it then continues again. Nobody will tell me that we have taken this issue so seriously for it to have lingered for so long. I think, unfortunately for Nigerians, we are now in a time when the focus of the political elites and the establishment is on how to win the next general elections, not on how to save our people or protect them. And then when you have the attention of politicians on INEC timetable, certainly Nigerians are going to be on their own for some time now.
In other words, part of what you're saying is that at this time, the governors have no business whatsoever endorsing or asking the president to run in the light of what we're facing right now.
Well, for me, even if I am a supporter of President Muhammadu Buhari, of which I am, I like him, he's my president, and I believe he's doing a good job. But I believe it is immoral, unacceptable, and insulting to our conscience and intelligence for governors, when people are dying, when corpses are being buried, for them to hoard themselves into the villa and say, we are endorsing the president. I thought their presence in the villa should be how to advise him and how to work out the strategy to end this violence. But it is clear to them, to us, everyone, that their preoccupation is with winning elections and not with how to save lives. But they should be able to understand clearly that it is only when he is able to deliver, and in a state where people are being killed, there is no other priority than bringing it to an end. So what they did is wrong, and those governors are more interested in winning elections than in the lives of our people. And I outrightly condemn it.